Hi everyone, thanks for watching the video. If you have a question about revenue management, you can send me an email, ask@bransonman.com. The website I started with was bransonman.com. I purchased a new website recently, hotelrevenueman.com, so it will actually forward you to the new website, but that's still me. A new updated email is chris@hotelrevenueman.com. So I had a client reach out to me and say, our revenue is down for this year. So we want to hire you to come help us figure out where the hole is in our boat so that we can fix it. So I said, okay, I'm going to need some metrics. So I got some metrics, had them run some reports for me and started looking through it. Usually when you run into a situation like this, there's usually one, maybe two glaring areas where it's way down. Maybe groups rooms are down 50% and you go, oh, that's it, what's going on with the groups department? And then they say, oh, well, we had 3 people and now we only have 1. You say, well, that's where your missing revenue is. So usually it takes a little bit of time, but it's pretty easy to figure out, and it will stick out what the problem is. So I just had them run reports, and I took just a few. There's probably literally 100 different line items and metrics that can be used. So I went ahead and just pulled some of these and then ran some formulas. Let's just look real quick. Out of order rooms. This is 1 year versus another year. And I was able to get 3 years worth of data. So in 2016 there was 134 out of order rooms. This is between January 1st and July 12th. Why is that important? Because that is before I started helping them. So when the owner called and asked me, can you help? A couple months later, he got in touch with me and said, is revenue up? And to a revenue manager, you can answer that question about 12 different ways. Because if you were down $100,000, does the owner want to know if now you're only down $90,000? That means you're making up ground. So that could be revenues up, but someone would say you're still missing 90 grand. Does that mean have we made up all of the $100,000 in 2 months and now we're positive? That would mean something different, and there's a lot of other variations. So I started looking, and the first one I looked at was out of order rooms. This is, there was a leak, so you had to go into your property management system, your PMS, and you had to take that room offline so it couldn't be booked, so the plumber could get in, maintenance man, over a day or two and fix that. You had bed bugs, so you had to take a room down. Well, all that is going to be calculated in out of order rooms. They went down in 2017 and went way up in 2018. So now you've got something that sticks out and you start asking questions. You ask the general manager, you ask the front desk, you probably ask maintenance. And they'll say, oh yeah, we didn't have enough housekeepers to clean all of our rooms, so we took 10 of them in the back and we just took them offline. And you go, aha, well, if you don't have as many rooms to sell, then you're not going to have more revenue. Your revenue is going to be down. And then you start putting fixes in place, like you didn't have enough housekeepers. Well, why do you not have enough housekeepers? Maybe you need to raise wages. Maybe the person managing those housekeepers runs them off because they're not very nice. It could be a whole host of reasons, but you've got the first indicator that there might be an issue. Let's look quickly at some others. Stayovers. Up, up, down. I went ahead and put in a formula that tells us how much we're up or down. So it's out of order rooms is up 1,000%, so that's not great. Stayovers is down 39. Rooms sold is down 39. Occupancy is down almost the same. Those should be probably close. Now the ADR is up. I've put this as red because I wanted them to notice how extremely out of line it is. And then when I see this ADR is up 8%, that could be positive. That's why I put it green. Now, this also could be contributing to their problem. ADR is the average daily rate, or if you took every room you sold between January 1st and July 12th, right here, this year they cost 8% more than last year. That sounds like you'll be bringing in more money, but they're losing money. So this could be actually a problem. it might mean your rooms are priced too high. And it might even be your rooms are priced too high on Sundays. Maybe you charge $100 on Friday and Saturday, but no one went in and changed it for Sunday all year because they weren't paying attention, and Sunday it should be $60. So no one booked your rooms on Sundays. So it just gives you a good starting point. RevPAR. Typically, hoteliers everywhere, and when you go to hotel revenue management school, they'll tell you the most important metric is RevPAR, revenue per available room. Why? It takes your occupancy, which as summary is how many rooms you sold. Not technically correct, but we'll just go with it. How many rooms you sold, and it combines it with how much you got for each room, the ADR. And so when you mash these together, you get this. So if you have a good balance of a good accurate rate, you're pricing your rooms correctly, and you're getting rooms sold, occupancy, then as the RevPAR goes up, if it's going up, it'll be a good indication of health. Their RevPAR is down by 1/3, so that's bad. Total room revenue is down 34. You see these 30s, they're all really close and they're related metrics, so that makes sense. Other revenue. In our tourist city, you can buy tickets to attractions, to go ride roller coasters, to go see a singing and dancing show. So this hotel will sell tickets to those things. That's way down. It's actually down almost double the others. And I asked them about this. They actually had a good reason. There are some very popular things to do in town that over here they sold tickets for. So they sold a lot of them. The problem is these attractions are so popular that you can't make much money on them. The companies that have these popular attractions know that they're popular, and they're already spending millions of dollars on their own marketing. So people are probably coming to buy these tickets because of the marketing they've done. So they pay you to sell them, but very little, and it usually, they came to the conclusion it wasn't worth the hassle and the time it took from the front desk employees. So I actually gave my blessing on that. That was okay with me. But your revenue's going to be down. It doesn't mean profit is down, because if you're making little to no profit on those, and the revenue goes away, that doesn't mean you're losing profit, because there might not have been any profit in it. Now, the other one that I thought was strange is walk-ins are down. This is why. If you have a hotel and it's on the main street in your city, if people are walking in, that means they're walking in and saying, hey, do you have a room? Yes, okay, I'll take it. That's an oversimplification, but I would think generally, if the town is as busy as it always is, and the same percentage of people walk in, then they're going to book rooms. Now, it might be that the people thought their ADR was too high. It also might be that something changed online. Walk-ins could be searching on their phones. Typically, in America, that's how it goes. They'll be searching on their smartphones, and maybe on these years, they're searching on their smartphones and were able to find them, and then they walked in. And here, not as many people were able to find them, so fewer walked in. That's the best that I came up with. Over here, we did January 1st to September 26th. So between July and September, that's what's going to be different about these numbers. And this is going to tell us, as the owner asked, is revenue up? So I ran all these metrics, and then over here I put in a formula that compares the change here to the change here. So, to July 12th, out-of-order rooms were up, which is bad. Out-of-order rooms were up 1,100%. That number went down to 871%. This is the amount of time that I was helping them. This is when I came on 2 months later. This is when we're running metrics. You see stayovers, which is someone's going to stay more than one night. So that's in the computer, that's indicated as a stay over. It's not a brand new sell, it's not a walk-in, it's someone staying an additional night. That was down 39% by September 6th. It was down only 33%. So if you look over here, that means it has increased in a positive direction by 5.8%. Same as rooms sold, same as occupancy, the ADR is down. Now that's not necessarily bad. What we went in, I started to go in and train them on my revenue management system, which I'll tell you more about in the future. And during times of low demand, I had them lower rate so we could get heads in bed, so we could just get some rooms booked. We're not worried about making a bunch of money during those times. During times of high demand, I had them raise their rates. Well, as we see, this was way up, but revenue was down, and I think we found out their rooms were priced too high during times of low demand. So we deliberately lowered the rate during times of low demand. So that was okay. It was on purpose. Revenue per available room. Remember, the most important metric, many hoteliers and revenue managers will tell you this, is RevPAR. You've seen in my other videos, I'm not a huge fan of RevPAR, at least for planning in the future, but the one time I do like it is when you look back and judge how you've done. So this is up 3.4% or $3. So that means the hotel is getting healthier. The reason I'm not a big fan of RevPAR looking in the future is because the numbers can be skewed, and I mentioned that in my other videos. Total room revenue is headed 3.8% in a good direction. It's still down almost a third, but it went from down 34% down to 30%. So it's better. Other revenue was up, walk-ins were up. So I'm not sure what all of that means. But this is leading to another conversation. In just a minute, I'm going to make another video. So if nearly everything is down, we didn't necessarily find a smoking gun, which means the one thing that sticks out. We found these two things that I think are contributors, but when you're down, where's our revenue? When you're down 34%, usually there's one big problem, and I found a couple little problems. It can't account for all of that money. So I started to ask them about marketing. It feels like there's something big going on. Like maybe they had a website last year, and this year they don't. Well, that's a big deal. Maybe last year they dealt with Expedia and Booking.com. That's what we use a lot here in the States. And now they're not using Booking.com. Okay, that's something really big. So I asked them about their marketing strategy, and we'll look into that into the next video. Thanks so much for watching. If you have a question about this, or maybe even something else to do with revenue management, or even marketing with a hotel, send me an email or visit my website, and I'll put some more information there. Thanks.